without no room for delay. Every day I live, I'm walking in your way. The mission is clear, the call is strong. I'll push forward, Lord, to right the wrong.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part two of the Push to Better Health. I am your host, Patrice Reed, your PR networker and your push coach. And we are here on day 26. Yeah, I had to make sure I checked 26 of the Push to Better Health, the 30-day push challenge. Last year we started, and it's been amazing. And this year we have decided to go a little bit more on the push to better health. One of the things I was just reflecting on over this past week is the importance of going back to the foundation, the beginning. Like, what was the idea? What did Lord put like in your spirit to do? And start there, and then kind of like recalibrate and come again. And so, what better way than, because I'm on a quest to better health, right? I'm also pushing to better health when it comes to spirit, my spirit, soul, and body, right? And we know the spiritual aspect is that we're getting into that word, building that intimate relationship with the Lord. But then comes like the physical, right? That part, whereas you get older, you don't want to work out, you don't want to do those things, right? Because you're so busy with all the other things. But what if you took time for yourself and push to better health when it came to that physical aspect, and then the mental? Yep, they, one of the things I've noticed over these past, even maybe just a year or two before COVID, right? There's just been an increase in everybody wanting to be a mental health coach or a licensed clinical like psychology or social worker, like everything to do with like helping people to just become or address or confront the issues that are causing them to be the way they are, right? And so, what better way on this June, right, as we're getting ready to go into that next half of the year, than to push in better health when it comes to your spirit, soul, and your body, the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. And so last week, if you were on, you would have seen my very special guest, Ashley Persons, and out of California. And we're going to chit chat a little bit more today. We're going to be on a topic of hormones and iron, because last week we kind of went a little bit surface, but she did give us some good gems, right? And so when it comes to her being in the nutrition field, and what are the things that we need as women to really fuel our bodies. And so here she is again with us. So I'm going to have her come back on. Ashley,
Hello,
welcome
hello.
back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I was
Thank
trying
you
not
for
to
having
say
me.
too much because it's just some good stuff we're going to talk about on today. But I was sharing with Ashley before that two other special guests that we have lined up to help just to finish out this 30-day push challenge, the push to better health. And so just know that it's going to be all things good for you. I won't even tell you what it is because I want you to come and join. So one will be on Sunday. We'll share the time and date, but the flyer is going to circulate soon. And then we have one on Monday. And so the 30-day push challenge is going to be a little bit different from last year, but it's so good for us. All right, Ashley. So part two of the push to better health. How are you?
I'm doing well. I feel really well today. I have a whole week. This past week was more so filled with rest, other
Mhm.
than the weeks prior. So I feel like I am becoming revived and refreshed. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
I-
Oh my goodness. So yeah, he's getting ready to present himself For those who don't know,
Yes.
Ashley's getting ready to have her third baby. Super, super
Yes.
excited. Super excited for her and just all the things that she's been able to accomplish on this pregnancy. And so God is good. So
Yeah.
Ashley, let's talk about hormone. What
Yeah.
First of all, introduce yourself again for those who weren't with us last week and who did not watch. If you did not watch last week, you need to go and watch last week. So kind of share a little bit of who you are before we get into our topic for today.
Awesome. Thank you, Patrice. And thank you so much for having me today. It's always a blessing and always refreshing, really, to be here and talk with you and be with you all. So, my name is Ashley. I am a Christian functional nutritionist. I hold a Master of Science in Human Nutrition and Functional Medicine, and I help women restore their gut, renew their energy, and really revived in Jesus. And so I have just a huge heart for Jesus and also to really help women in their health, specifically mamas. And so I have a family. I have a wonderful husband and two beautiful girls and a baby on the way. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about me. I have a business called Revive, where I have a membership program where we discuss all things gut health, recipes, having ways to keep consistent and build sustainable habits. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ashley. For those of you who are watching, I please go ahead and share. Let everyone know that the part two of the Push to Better Health is on. We are live, and you can go on ahead and watch us. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook, and for whatever reason, Instagram is not
Oh,
participating, but it's okay. So we're gonna just go ahead and share. Share YouTube, share Facebook. All right. So let's talk, Ashley. We've been talking about um, all things women health since last week, right? And so
mhm.
one of the topics that I wanted to get into, right? And I know just from the nutritional aspect, because I know, yes, you're not a medical doctor, and but the nutritional aspect where you have nutritionists and doctors are working together to really help women
Absolutely.
to help
Yeah.
us balance, right? And so share a little bit about hormone and about the
Sure.
nutrition. What are some of the things that we women can do to
Yeah.
help when it comes to that area?
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and I think there's been such a huge talk about hormones because I think over the years, there's just been more and more open conversation, which is amazing, just about women's health in general and about how these little chemical signals, these hormones are affecting us, especially when we're noticing things that are imbalanced. And so hormones, just very briefly, they're chemical messengers that send different signals to our body. And basically, we have so many different hormones that reach multiple systems. And so we experience them as women so much because, we go through menstrual cycles, we go through pregnancies, postpartum, all these fluctuations, perimenopause, menopause, all these different seasons of life or times where we can really sense the shifts hormonally in our body. And so the things that the hormones do is help us wake up. It helps us to figure out what our blood sugar levels are, help us respond to stress, and so much more. And so hormones are so important to keep balanced and also be mindful of. And so we don't realize often just how much food and nutrition can affect something in our bodies like hormones. But the reality is that the foods we eat and the lifestyle choices we have greatly affect it. And I can go into more detail if you want me to do it now. Patrice, I was just thinking of just the different ways that we can help support our hormone health better. And one of the ways is making sure we have enough fiber in our diet. Fiber is something so important. And I think right before we were talking about sweet potatoes.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely going to get into that one.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, go ahead and kind of just share
Yeah.
just a little bit on that, and then we're going to go in and talk about some of the things that I've even been incorporating in to kind of.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So with fiber, fiber is such an important nutrient to have in our diet because of the way it helps us um, manage our hormones, specifically estrogen. Fiber helps us keep things moving, right? It helps us go to the bathroom. Not to be so explicit, but it helps us go. You can use the bathroom and have healthy bowel movements. And what the reason why that's so important, and even that gut health connection, the gut health connection to our hormones, is this reality that our gut helps to eliminate any excess estrogen that we can have in our body. And so when we have enough dietary fiber in our day to day, then we can successfully eliminate any excess estrogen. And a lot of times there could be issues that happens with too much of that. And so I won't go into all the nitty gritty details, but dietary fiber is so important to help keep us regulated, not just in when we use the bathroom, but also when it comes to our hormones, and eliminating any excessive things that our body wants to get rid of, so we can keep that balance.
Wonderful, wonderful. Um, so I never even connected the two with the hormones and even the regularity of
The
the
gut health.
stomach. I never. But see, that's why we have you on, because I never really thought about it. I know based on the different things that I eat, I realize that things are flowing a little bit better. Um,
Yeah.
all right, so let's talk about uh, some of the things since I've been on this journey. So, for those who don't know, the 30-day challenge, I've incorporated walking, all things push to better health.
Yes.
And as I shared last week, that was one of the topics that I had when I first started the talk show. That was many years ago,
Yeah.
and it was the push to better health. And so I was talking about all the things that I could think of when it comes to better health. But I was adding like forgiveness and all these other things, different
Mhm.
topics around being the push to better health, because you need to be mentally there. Your heart needs to be right. Because one of the things I realized even on this journey is the things that your emotions, if it's not healthy, it will affect
Right.
like your physical, right? And
Mhm.
therefore, if it's affecting the physical, most of the times, like you spiritually, you can't, like you're just imbalanced.
Yeah.
And so one of the main things this year is being aligned, really in alignment where it's your spirit, soul, and body, just fully aligned with how
Mhm.
God intends for us to be. And so one of the things I've been trying different meals, right? So we were talking before we went live, we were talking about some of the things that I've been trying. And so
Mhm.
my breakfast, if you go on my Instagram stories, you're gonna see the breakfast or the meal that I decided to do for today was just simply eggs, because I've been like researching like what are some of the things I could incorporate. So
Yeah.
it's the eggs, and I didn't scramble it. I just did like a nice
Mhm.
egg with sauteed spinach, and
Mm.
I baked a sweet potato. Sweet potato is like my
Yeah.
favorite of all times. Like that's one of my favorites. So I could eat that. So that's kind of like how I kind of broke like my fast and had
Yeah.
that. Made one also for my mother. And so I was sharing with you, sweet potato, it causes me to be a full. And
Mhm.
also I feel good. Like when it comes to like iron, which we're going to talk about, um, I know when my body feels like depleted, like I don't have enough energy. And I never used to associate it like, I'm not like in the chemistry. Like I did do chemistry, but I was like focusing on certain things. As you get older, you're like, oh, so that's what they were saying. And that's what they
Mhm.
were saying. And so as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that you have to eat to fuel your body.
Right.
Like you have to fuel the body. Like So you could kind of share based on the plate that you saw, and I just
Yeah.
mentioned, what are some of the benefits and how did that kind of like target my hormones?
Yeah, awesome. So one thing that I saw, I looked at it briefly. So, but I saw you had your eggs, you
Mm,
had your sweet potato, and then the spinach.
right.
Did I miss anything else on the
Oh,
plate?
that was it.
I was like,
There's
okay.
just some red onions or stuff like that.
Yeah, I was like, I thought I saw a little bit more color. That's awesome.
Yeah, bell peppers and yeah,
Oh, bell peppers and onion. I love that.
yeah.
So one of the first things I see when I looked at your plate was it was filled with vegetables.
Yeah,
Um,
colorful, right?
Colorful, yes, colorful vegetables. So you had the orange sweet potatoes. You had the I think it was green bell pepper. Was it
Mhm. No,
green?
it was the spinach and some red bell
Oh,
peppers.
red bell pepper. So you got
Mhm,
the red color in there, the green from the spinach. You
mhm.
have the onion. I don't know if it was white or red, but still
Yeah.
wonderful colors. And and then you also had your eggs, which is so important because that provides protein. Protein it helps to stabilize your blood sugar in the morning. And since we, are fasting for the whole night,
Mhm.
and I know you're doing with the push challenge, it's the intermittent fast. So that first meal
Mhm.
has to help support stabilize blood sugar because that's the
Yeah,
first thing you're eating. And so because you added the protein, which was the eggs,
the eggs.
that really helped to stabilize and kind of get your system set for the day. And when your blood sugar is stabilized, that directly affects hormones.
Mhm.
Because when we have stabilized blood sugar, our insulin levels are also at a good level, and not it's not producing too much. It's allowing our insulin to be produced in a way that is sensitive, where it's not overwhelmed by all the
Mhm.
sugar. Like say if we had a pastry or a donut or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
And so that and insulin is a hormone too, which maybe not most would know, but it's a hormone that definitely affects,
Mhm.
of course, multiple systems, as I'm sure we know with diabetes and different things like that.
Mhm. Oh,
Um,
okay,
yeah.
that's good to know. That's
Mhm.
definitely good to know.
The protein, colorful plate, and you had your choice of carbohydrate, which was a sweet
Yeah,
potato. I
how about the
immediately
sweet potato
Oh, sweet potato.
without all the sugar.
Yes, right, with not the candied yams, but the with just the sweet potato.
Yeah.
And that's great because that is what I would call a, fiber rich, carbohydrate.
Mhm.
Because it's high fiber, and it's a carbohydrate. It's a starchy carb, so it has a good amount of starch in it, but
Mhm.
it does have a lot of fiber, which helps to slow down sugar absorption in the gut, and also again all the other benefits of having good fiber in your diet.
All right, so just a little break and a commercial here. So, just in case you all do not know Ashley, go and check out her Instagram and all the stuff that she's doing with her Revive coaching business when it comes to helping you coach you back pretty much to life. Revive, right? And
Mhm.
you should share your story around Revive and how the Lord gave you that before we get off here today, because after we do part two, that's it for the nutritional side, and we have the two other surprises that are coming on Sunday and Monday. Um,
Yes.
but it is so important that we have an Ashley, a nutritionist in our lives. Like, it's so important. And so, for those of you who are struggling in the area of hormones, like as I said, she's not a medical doctor, but doctors are consulting with the nutritionist to get, because I don't know how much nutrition the doctors, based on some of the stuff you all given doctors, you need to connect with the nutritionist
They
or
say
take
that
a
MDs have at least 1 hour
Mm,
of nutrition classes
wow.
within their medical school program. So that's
Oh,
only 1 hour.
yeah.
So it might be so yeah, nutritionists are
Yeah.
very really
Key
collaborative and
people.
can work
Yeah.
alongside. Yeah.
Some key people. So just as you said, and why? Because anyone who can help solve a problem, like as nutritionists are helping to solve problems, and you went to school for it, you study, and you're good, like you are, based on some of the things you're even incorporating, even with you being pregnant, like I've never seen, like, not all women eat healthy during their pregnancy. And so you,
Right.
because you have this valuable information, you're now helping a lot of women, not just the ones who are pregnant and non ones who are not pregnant as well, but
Right.
help everybody just be happy. Their butt, your tummy's healthy gut.
Yeah.
It shows in the skin. Like, I'm not wearing makeup,
Yes.
some
Right.
lipstick, but
You got
nothing
the
else.
glow.
Right. And so it's very important that we had that nutritional aspect. And so going ahead and reach out to Ashley, revive, get yourself revived. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we talk about the hormonal. So it's, not gonna touch on that with the what you said pertaining to insulin and stuff. I don't want to touch on that because I want to just stay within the women's
Sure.
health portion.
Sure.
But it was very intriguing to know that that is an hormone. I didn't even think about that. Never crossed my thoughts.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So now me and my mom will have a totally different type of conversation. Even though
Oh
she
yeah.
no longer has that, she's been healed
Amen.
for the
Amen.
very short time. And so we're
Mhm.
thankful for that.
Amen.
But when it comes to now, let's talk about the iron, because I know I've been incorporating a lot of spinach when it comes to
Yeah.
spinach. And then in the islands, they have what's called callaloo. So it's kind of like, it's not collard greens. It's very much more quicker to steam and cook. But those are things, the leafy greens
Yes.
are what they say is high in iron. And are those people trying to find you on Instagram?
I didn't. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I was like, send them over to
Yes.
YouTube. Right. So I know the leafy greens are good. So that's why I've been trying to incorporate a lot of those in there
Right.
for
Yeah.
that. So let's go into the iron now, because I know that's one of the things a lot of people during their menstrual cycle, especially,
Yeah.
like they experience like their iron low. People feel like they want
Yeah.
to fall out,
Right.
or even times of fasting. Like there are some people
Right.
who can't
You're
fast.
right,
They
you're not
have a,
kidding.
and I'm like, Lord, okay, how is this going to work for some people? Because their iron is very low, but
Yeah.
some people get the grace to do it. So
Right.
let's talk a little bit about what iron is and how it affects us on the body.
Yeah, absolutely. So iron is a micronutrient. It's in the periodic table, but it's also very important for our blood. Our hemoglobin which is our blood cells are full of it. This protein called hemoglobin, and that's called, probably if you ever had like a blood count before, you'll say, "What's my blood count?" And then they'll say, "Oh, your hemoglobin is good," or something like that. So that hemoglobin is a protein that carries. It's actually made with an iron molecule, and the iron itself helps attach itself to oxygen molecules. So hemoglobin that has the iron inside helps transfer oxygen to our bodies. So when we think of someone with iron deficiency, and one of the main symptoms is fatigue, right? Or dizziness, shortness of breath, not because I'm, pregnant, shortness of breath, but shortness of breath because there's not enough oxygen getting to the tissues that it needs to get to, because there's not enough iron present to carry the oxygen in the hemoglobin. So that's just a little kind of like a quick anatomy or biochemistry type of review of what iron is. And so what happens when we have iron deficiency is there's a lot of symptoms like the fatigue, the dizziness, and also it's difficult to work out. You want to work out, you like, I want to be able to get the energy again, but maybe you get short of breath, you're not able to complete your the things that you want to do because of the iron deficiency. And so the leafy greens, just like Patrice said, the kale, the spinach, all of those foods are so important to help increase your iron stores. And also, what's also important is if you eat meat, red meat, it's full of iron. The preference is for to consume grass-fed, grass-finished red meat, and that's because it has a different type of chemical structure of the fatty acids in it, and that makes it healthier. It has something called omega 3s in it, and so it just makes it a different and more healthier way for our bodies to process versus conventional non-organic, non-grass-fed meat. So if you do eat meat, then you definitely will be safe with the grass-fed kind, and that's a great iron source. There's other sources of iron. Beans have iron. There's other variations. One thing that is important is to consume vitamin C alongside with your iron. So you think of, say, you're having a spaghetti meat sauce, and you have the tomato. Tomatoes are rich in vitamin C. That helps your body to absorb all the iron that it needs. Likewise, there's other different kinds of nutrients that will block absorption of iron. So you might be trying to eat all the iron-rich foods that you want, but if you eat that alongside with certain foods or beverages, then it can help. It can actually reduce iron absorption. Some of those foods are foods that contain calcium, so like milk, cheese, dairy, or even certain drinks, coffee, or tea. The tea has, or like matcha tea, for example. I know matcha tea is a big thing, and hey, I'm all for it because I love the slow release energy that matcha brings. But it also has something called tannins in it, and those compounds, those chemical compounds, will reduce absorption of iron. So there's certain things that you want to refrain from eating at the same time. You can still eat it, but you have to be strategic in your timing. For example, I actually found out during pregnancy that I was iron deficient. Well, my iron in the labs were actually normal. They were just suboptimal, but my hemoglobin eventually went down low. So that's always a thing. Your labs might be okay. They might be in normal conventional range, but if it's on the lower range, you might be trending down to lower. And of course, for me at least, I actually went lower. So I was anemic. And so what I decided to do is I would take my iron pills in the morning, first thing with some lemon water. That way I have, the citrus, the vitamin C to help with absorbing the iron tablet. And then I also added my probiotic because I always take that in the morning. And then I would wait about an hour before I would eat my breakfast, like eggs and the spinach, everything that you were showing, Patrice. And then after I would eat that, I would wait a couple hours for my food to digest, for the iron and the spinach that I would eat or the microgreens that I would eat would be able to get absorbed into my body. And then after 2 hours after eating, I would then drink my matcha because that's my routine. Or for you, if it's your coffee or something like that. And then after that, I would wait another hour before I would eat again my next meal. So that's what I'm talking about. Timing is being strategic on when you are eating your iron with something that could block it, like calcium or coffee, tea, and then also make sure you're pairing your iron with something that will help with absorption, like vitamin C rich foods.
Yeah, that's something I was going to touch on because
Oh
iron
yeah,
in the past, when it just taking the iron, like I was like, mm-mm. So now I see like the liquid form. Liquid form, it works really fast in my system. So I have to like, I say, maybe just stick with the capsules
yeah.
but it's having that vitamin C piece. Like you have to have whether it's orange juice or something that's gonna
Yeah.
help. So one of the products that I bought, Jartol, I think it's called, from Amazon, they already have the vitamin C
Oh,
included
there you
in the
go.
liquid. So
Makes it easy for
so
you.
that's good. So for those of you who may take iron and you feel like worse than you were before, um,
Right.
then try the one that has vitamin C in it. So that's a good one.
Absolutely.
And hey, I'm not a medical professional, okay?
Yeah.
I've just been able to try different things. based on like a doctor's recommendation, and I
Sure.
say okay. So because I used to just have like my certain vitamins just expire in my cabinet because I'm like I took it one time and it made me like feel woozy.
Yeah.
So, but I think for me, my food is the best place. I
Yeah.
realize that I get a lot of my nutrients, and so yeah.
It's
So yeah.
interesting because I feel like iron is something that may not be fully talked about often, but it's so prevalent. There's so many people walking around with iron deficiencies, especially in pregnancy,
Mhm.
because of just the way our bodies change in pregnancy,
Right.
the need for iron.
Hmm.
But it's so common, and I also wonder, why that would be,
Hmm.
that iron deficiency can be, really prevalent in people, and one thought is, just like what you said, is because of nutrition, the foods we eat. A lot of women are under eating, or, we'll just have a snack here, a snack there, or we'll eat empty calories, things that are full of calories, but are empty in nutrients.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then we don't get the specific things that we need. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, for those of you who are watching, again, we this is part two of the Push to Better Health. We are talking all things hormones, and iron when it comes to us women. So if you're a guy and you're watching, like if your wife, your girlfriend, your sister, mother, whoever, send them this link so they can tune in. And if you missed last week's, go on ahead. It's on our Instagram page, both of us, and it's also on Facebook and on YouTube at the Push Talk Show. All right. So, yeah. So, if you have any question, go on ahead and let us have some convo here in the chat. Let me see if there's anyone. You could check in yours to see if there's anyone talking to us in the comments. I had to come in a little bit closer. But yeah, so go on ahead and share the link and let everyone know. We won't be on here much longer. So you have to, if you just joined in, you got to go and watch from the beginning. But we're talking all things hormones and how to get most of what you need from your foods. Knowing, I think knowledge is really truly power. Like if you don't have the knowledge of something and what it can do for you, you will just think, oh no, the color is awful. Just
Right.
right. I think with
Yeah.
kids with their veggies, like the green just looks too green. Okay, why is that way? So I have nieces, so they be like doing all kinds of stuff. But it's important, as we're
Yeah.
getting older, we take our health, that push to better health, like take it in your hands. Don't just leave it up to the doctors, right? Because not to hit any doctor or to throw shade or anything, but they pretty much survive based on the pharmaceuticals that they recommend, right? And
Yeah.
so I know some of them are more incorporating like more of the nutritional aspect, like they're connecting with a dietitian and all that. But you also have to make up in your mind. The Bible talks about we already have the healing. He already died for it. And so I remember one time the Lord said, it's not that people don't get healed. They go back and live the
Mm.
same way. Like you can't come to the altar or been asking everybody and their mama to pray for you.
Right.
And then you still don't change anything about the way
Right.
you're eating, the way you're thinking about what's happening to you, and the word of God is there to help to encourage you and build your faith, but you also have to do your part. And
Right.
so that is what the push is to better health. Like, in the spirit, get the spirit man ready, right? Last week, I think I touched on it. The body's always ready. The spirit is always ready to go. But
Right.
if your physical body is tired and exhausted, then we can't be effective. And then the can't be effective for sure. So one of the things that when you were talking earlier, and I wanted to jump in and say, a lot of time people just feel lazy and slouchy, right? When it comes to, and they're thinking, oh, why do I feel this way? It could be an iron problem. Like
Right.
you're not just lazy. You don't just not want to work out or go walking or whatever.
Right.
It could be an iron issue. And
Exactly.
so share any example of that you've had maybe with a client, when it comes to that. Did you automatically thought that could it be this issue when it comes to your iron?
Yeah, definitely. There was someone that I've worked with, and she she just started becoming just a little bit more tired. And I think that's the thing, is sometimes it can come up very progressively. So it's not like, bam, one day I'm just exhausted. I'm not myself. I'm a couch potato, or whatever the term or way you want to describe it. But it just happens on a progression. And so she actually is the one who realized what it was. And that's why I think it's part of one of the best reasons why talking with a nutritionist, or talking with someone sometimes outside of the medical um, system, is very helpful. Oh, I think I froze. Do you still hear me?
I can.
Oh, okay, but I'm just stuck in
Oh,
that
you're
phase.
frozen.
That's okay.
All right, well, that's fine. But we do have a question from Mark and Ash. They're asking about balancing hormone. What maybe some tips to balancing the hormones after pregnancy, after giving birth?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want me want to just let it figure out
Yeah,
its thing?
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, there
it
we go.
figured it out. Thank
Yeah,
God.
like wait. All right,
Awesome.
so go ahead and answer Mark and Ash. They're
Thank
asking
you.
about balancing the hormones after giving birth. So let's go.
Yes, yes, awesome. Well, thank you, Mark and Ash, probably Ashley, um, for asking the question. So, after pregnancy, as you know, there's just so many shifts in our hormones already, and our body is just balancing back the estrogen and progesterone and all these things. And so, what's best is to really continue developing that foundation through nutrition and through eating a balanced meal, having those leafy greens. I'm sorry, there's that bing that keeps on happening, but having those balanced meals with a lot of veggies, all the plant foods. Again, they're going to help to increase the amount of clearance of any excessive hormones that need to be removed, and also help regulate your blood sugar, which is directly related to your hormone health. And so having enough protein, that does the same thing, specifically helping to balance blood sugar. So enough healthy protein, whether that's the grass fed steak or red meat, whatever it is, or even the lean meats, the poultry or fish, those things. And then having more whole grains than refined grains. That way, it's just another additive piece that gives more nutrients, more fiber, for example. There are other supplements that can help too. There's been a tea that also has more of a combined tea that you can drink. The red raspberry leaf is still really helpful, even though you're postpartum. That's still really good for uterine health. And the stinging nettle leaf is also really helpful, because it helps to actually, it's full of iron and full of magnesium and silica, different nutrients, micronutrients that are very important to help bring back to life and really revitalize your cells, because a lot of these micronutrients are needed um, to help with energy and your hormones. Another one is to ensure you're taking your prenatal. That should have some zinc in it, but if you're not, or if it doesn't have it in it, zinc is really helpful. And eating nuts and seeds, those types of food groups also have a lot of different nutrients in it that also helps your hormones. So magnesium is important, and then also the zinc, and that can also be found through supplements or your prenatals. So yeah, so there's just a different variety, and as much as possible to get sleep when you can. I think sleep is something that, as postpartum mamas, we're just like, it can feel like there's a lack of, or impossible to get to. But just whenever we can, whether it's with the baby when they're napping, or whenever we can, to really, as much as possible, to cultivate rest in our postpartum time. That way, our hormones can help regulate by regulating cortisol, by regulating that specific hormone. So, those are some tips that I have.
All right, nice, nice, nice. See, I'm already taking mental notes, mental notes, because I've never been in that state, but I understand what they're asking.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Ashley, for just sharing so much. A little bit more information is always
Mhm.
good,
Yeah.
and it shows that you're on the right path and going the right direction when it comes to the push to better health. So
Mhm.
again, for those who want to get in contact with you, Ashley, go on ahead and share your info.
Yeah, you can
Um,
reach me on Instagram, ashleypearson.fn.
all right, so go on ahead and follow Ashley, and also I don't know if you're gonna share the free
Oh,
PDF again.
yeah.
Go on ahead and get your free PDF so you can have your plate looking as colorful as mine. As I said, go on over to my Instagram stories, and you will
Yeah.
see what I had on for my meal today, and
Awesome.
it tasted really good. All
Yes,
right.
I'm actually working on another one specifically for hormones.
Oh, okay, so that one
So
will come.
yeah, well, another one will come. I can share it with you in the comments here, and then also I'll share it with you on Instagram on the story.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for this time again on this fine Friday. As you can see, Ashley is on the West Coast. All right.
Yes.
So it's like
So
3 hours
sorry.
ahead behind us while we're about to see the sun's about to set down this side.
Oh,
But
wonderful.
so thank you for this time. Thank you for using your knowledge to empower us, to help us to be better, to be more intentional, and to push to better health. So I just want to thank you for joining us here on our 30-day push challenge, day 26, and we're pushing. We're pushing in our nutrition. All right. So thank you so much, Ashley. And
Thank you so much.
until you decide to come and crash on our couch again, as we would call it.
Yeah.
So until then, we will chat. All right. Thank
Sounds
you so
good.
much for being our special guest today.
Thank you for having me. It's such a blessing. Thank you, Patrice.
Yes, you're welcome. Oh man, I hope you guys have been having fun. Just fun with the information, right? Because as I said, what you don't know, you can't really do anything much to better yourself if you don't have the right information. And so for some of you who have been just going to the doctor and going to the doctor, how about checking your nutrition? It's what you eat. I once spoke to a friend, she's always working out, she had a great body. She's like, it's not so much going to the gym, it's what you're putting in your body. It's what you're fueling the body with. That's going to make it look amazing. Right? Because you don't want to just look good. You want to feel good. Because for years I was very slim and I thought I was fit and healthy, but no. As you get older, you start to see all the different things that you were not doing right when you were younger or when you were on the thin side. Right? So anyway, push to better health this week as it's the weekend. Make great choices, balance out your meal, and connect with Ashley. Go on ahead and get that free PDF that's going to help with the hormones for those who are struggling, whether you are just perimenopausal, as they are calling, it's like the hit word on the street, but or however you're feeling. If your iron's low, if you're just feeling sluggy and lazy, you just woke up and you feel tired again, check your iron and connect with your doctor, of course. Always go ahead and make sure you talk with your doctor before you make any big changes. And also, you might not might get a nutritionist on board. Okay, get a nutritionist on board or a dietitian. My mom has a dietitian, right? And so for her particular needs, so everyone should. And God wants us to take care of this temple. So go on ahead and get the help that you need so you could be more intentional about your health because your spirit, soul, and body needs it all. All right. So until next time, it's Patrice Reed, your PR networker and your push coach. And we are on day 26 again of the push challenge. So there is a special session that we're having on Sunday. Look out for the flyers. It's coming as well as on Monday. So it's all a total body makeover, mind makeover, spirit man makeover. and you won't regret it. All right, so go on ahead and share this video with someone you know who could use some help with their hormones and their iron. And also remember to watch part 1 from last week. All right, and stay abreast. And see you soon. Remember, it's all in the push. God bless you.